So the whole idea of security planning and security management is to be better prepared when it comes to cybersecurity. So if your enterprise or your company, if you ask how well prepared you are, how good is the state of cybersecurity, that's what the cybersecurity posture is. So cybersecurity posture, how do we address cybersecurity? How we prepare ourselves for cybersecurity? How do we handle when something goes wrong? So the posture can either be reactive. Unfortunately, in many cases, this is what it is. And what does reactive mean? Well, we worry about it because we're sort of forced to do it. Because there's regulation compliance requirements, they say you must do so. And we react to that regulation that comes down our throats. Or it's customer demands. Customers saying, I will not do business with you unless you have that. Okay, a lot of companies these days, especially business to business, B2B, they don't want to do business with someone who has lax cybersecurity. So again, we react to this demand that comes from somebody we want to do business with. It could be in response to something bad that happens to us. Okay, so as a breach, for example, the Target, Home Depot examples everybody talks about. So we react to the adverse event that we suffered. So that's another example of what reactive security posture is. And finally, it may be in response to events that occur. Our competition may have suffered. One bank, for example, suffers a breach, and other banks may react to that by making sure that the vulnerabilities that were exploited don't exist in their IT systems. So all these are examples of this is a reactive posture. I said, unfortunately, security is event driven. When something bad happens, people say, oh, we need it, and so we need to do something about it. But this is what is called a reactive posture to cybersecurity. Of course, it's better to have what is called a proactive approach to security. You plan for it. That's what security planning is talking about. You work hard to assess your risk. You do things to reduce it, look at the cost, and do that before either you're forced because of regulation or forced because something bad happens to you and you respond to it or react to it. So what are some examples of proactive things that a company should be doing? Well, first of all, it should be somebody's job to worry about cybersecurity, isn't it? Assets, how they're protected, how people are educated, cybersecurity insurance, having a good policy, making sure, people are held responsible and empowered to do things, and all the things we talked about when it comes to security planning and management. So having a champion whose job it is to worry about it, this champion should have influence. If he or she doesn't have influence, of course, they're not going to get anything meaningful done. So one thing people talk about, for example, is this proactively addressed at the highest level in an organization? They talk about the board level conversation. The board addresses various kind of risks an enterprise has to deal with. Is cybersecurity risk one of those, or is there a conversation about it? Is there a conversation about what needs to be done to reduce that risk? Is there investment made in cybersecurity controls and solutions and personnel and things like that? If that's done before bad things happen, that would be a proactive approach. It's, again, unfortunately, we're not there where this is happening in every company. In fact, one of the things that happened, we said Target hired a CSO. Who does the CSO report to? Does the CSO report to CIO? Well, then you're not talking about it at the highest level. It doesn't report to the CEO. The CEO maybe doesn't bring it up at the board level and things like that. So proactive means somebody is a champion, looks ahead, has the influence that's necessary, and has support at the highest levels, and that would be a proactive posture for cybersecurity.